now officially introduce you to the NiteGuardian. So first, let's talk about the paint job. This is by far the best paint job that I have done yet, in both the quality of it and also I'd say the overall design of it as well. A lot of times when doing paint jobs, you can get these really gross looking wrinkles on the shell. They really don't look good at all and just kind of show a bad quality paint job. But this has literally no wrinkles, which is like a first for me actually. I think I have finally kind of discovered a good technique to use when painting. So definitely really proud of this paint job because it is very nice. I used a really nice clear coat too, and it gave it a really nice texture, which makes it feel like it almost wasn't even painted to begin with. Like, it feels like almost like Nerf plastic, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even painted. It's really nice. Also, the stripes turned out really good too. The masking was nice. I like how those lined up basically perfectly, actually. And just overall, it's very, very nice. Now, I should probably address the elephant in the room. All these wires up here. Well, boom. There are the lights that I installed. So yes, I did another Firefly Tech installation like what I did in the NiteLite, although this has a different type of light. Here is the good old NiteLite. At the time of this mod, this was actually a pretty big deal for me, because I learned quite a bit from doing this mod. This was my first time using a Dremel to cut holes into the shell, which I did have to do in multiple different spots for the light system. I also learned how to solder doing this mod, because once again, I did use that multiple times with the light system, and also I'd say it was a pretty decent advancement in my painting skills, as this was actually a pretty decent paint job, although the NiteGuardian over here, definitely way better. This one did have a little bit of that wrinkling like I mentioned earlier, and in some parts of it, it's just a little bit too, like, thick, if you get what I mean. Like, it's just not exactly the greatest application. Another thing I do want to mention is that this thing is pretty unreliable, which maybe I can show. Alright, let's give this a try here. Most of the time it does work, but sometimes it doesn't. Okay, well, I mean, I guess I'm not complaining. It worked every time there, but sometimes, though, it'll, like, skip a dart in the cylinder and stuff, and, well, I'll say this. The NiteGuardian, way better. Now, I was going to use this 6 kilogram spring that I bought off of Worker Mods, but it just wasn't working, and I honestly couldn't figure out why, but I think really just the internals could not handle this strong of a spring. So in the end, I just had to switch back to the stock spring, but it's still more powerful than the NiteLite. And also, this thing is more reliable. So let's give this a few shots here. So definitely a very reliable blaster, which is honestly really good. But I do want to talk about one issue that I ran into while working on this mod. So I did experience multiple very minor issues in the reassembly process, like missing pieces and whatnot, and some of them I kind of tried to substitute, but I did end up having to open up yet another Guardian Crossbow and had to take a few things out of that, so yeah, I did have to sacrifice another Guardian Crossbow, but so be it, I guess. But definitely the biggest issue that I had was when I was done with the reassembly process, this thing was not shooting consistently. So what was happening is that I would shoot the first dart and it was fine. It was full power, but then like the next 2 shots got like progressively worse and it was just like awful. And I honestly couldn't figure out why until I realized that the cylinder was actually popping out with the first shot. So that's why it was so bad, because now that the cylinder was further away from the plunger tube system, there was a worsened air seal. I found out that there were 2 screws on the cylinder that were not tightened down enough, allowing for just a little bit of wiggle room where it could kind of pop forward, just a little bit. And presumably, the reason it was popping out was from the force of the spring slamming forward, right? That force was causing it to pop out. And so that's why the first shot was good, because the first shot, it started off, you know, fully forward, but then it would do the second shot, and now it was sticking out a little bit further, and like I mentioned earlier, now that there's more distance between the cylinder and the plunger tube system, which is up here, now there's going to be a worsened seal, so it's not going to shoot as well. So that's why it was doing that. And so all I had to do was just tighten down those 2 screws, and now it works just fine. I do want to talk about the lights a little bit more. So of course the main purpose of having these lights is to charge up Firefly Tech darts, which if you don't know are glow-in-the-dark darts. And so how it works is there's actually these holes at the bottom of the cylinder, and the lights are right behind the cylinder, so that light will shine through the cylinder and that light will charge up the glow-in-the-dark darts. Well, I do want to point out that it's really only working in the bottom three barrels of the cylinder. The top one, this one right here, that one I physically cannot put the lights because that whole plunger tube system is right in line with that barrel, so there really wasn't a way I could do that. Now, these other two barrels right there is a little bit of light. I don't know if that's really picking up on camera or not. There is light, but it's not exactly shining very well, so really doesn't do anything. Otherwise, yeah, the bottom three barrels are just fine, but I feel like if anything, it's more of just for the cosmetic purpose, honestly. It looks really cool. In the end, I was disappointed that I was not able to get this thing functioning with a stronger spring like I was originally planning, but I'm still extremely satisfied with how this paint job turned out because it looks amazing and is definitely a very high quality paint job. And I mean, come on. These lights are awesome. And, you know, it is also disappointing that it isn't really working for the top three barrels, but it's still really cool, you know? I'm honestly very satisfied with this blaster, and I'd say it's definitely an improvement over the NiteLite here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys later.